Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Shreya. So we thought there were a bunch of people with a bunch of different questions. We'll do question and answer. But to kick us off, I think a lot of people have read so many of your stories and drawn a lot of inspiration from your life. But can you speak a little bit about some crossroads where you weren't sure that you could continue on your path? And what was it that gave you the courage to say, I could either break down or break through, and something must have supported you, and where did you find that courage? And I think it's all of us, no matter where we are in our journeys, seek that courage. So I thought we'd start there. Or wherever you want to go.
No. Can I chant the Guru Mantra before?
Yes, of course.
Because the inspiration which you asked me is with this teacher of mine, so I better chant the Guru Mantra before. Without him, this is a good way to hold it, I suppose. Okay. Akhanda mandalakaram vyaptam yen characharam tatpadam darshitam yen tasmai shri gurave namaha ajnanatimmirandhasya jnananjanam shalakaya chakshurumilitam yen tasmai shri gurave namaha Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahm, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nipun Bhai is right. All of us who are on the path, I think all of us, there may be some exceptional individual who doesn't have a problem, but most of us, all of us, as we go on this path, we face obstacles, we face
bring it closer?
Yes, sir.
Is it better?
Yeah. I think you can hear me, right? Okay. That's okay. So, very often, sometimes less, sometimes more, we are at this crossroads. We don't know whether to proceed or to go back. Or there are even cases where people desperately want to go but can't, and they give up everything and beat a retreat. This is also happens. It can happen. Because the path, the journey which we are on, since it's a spiritual journey, and I'm sure many of you, otherwise why would you be here? And why would they host us here? There is a journey going on. It's not the ordinary journey, it's a spiritual journey. And therefore, it's quite important to note about our seriousness on this journey. But even if you are very serious, there are many attractions and distractions in this world which can take us away from it. It's quite normal, quite natural. I don't think it should be even considered to be the obstacle should be considered an obstacle on the path, because these obstacles are those which make us think, if we don't give up and go back, as in exceptional cases, yes, but even they have a hope. So these are difficulties and problems that come to us. We often think they come to us accidentally, but I think they come to us as a test so that we become more mature and move forward. So that we see where we stand. You know, very often in the initial excitement and the enthusiasm, we can get overzealous and then do things, and then we find that you can't keep up with it. You need to get back. So this is actually a situation to be tested, and if these things were not there, it would hardly be a spiritual journey. I mean, it would be smooth. It's like driving on a highway, following all traffic rules, keep going. Unfortunately, it's not the case as far as the spiritual journey is concerned, because we need to mature our minds to move forward. And all these difficulties and obstacles are like they've come to test us and make us more mature so that we move properly. One thing, yeah. You asked me a personal question. Did you at some point go through it? Yes, I did at various points in my life. One is when I was a young man and I was wondering what was I doing at home. I used to go to school but sit inside and look out of the window, actually asking the same question, what the hell am I doing here? There is a wide world outside, why am I sitting here? So, but I had to sit, because you're supposed to go to school and sit in the classroom and learn what the teacher says. So there was, conflict started quite early. And then you must also understand that I was born in a Muslim family and the situation is completely different from where my mind was going into. I'm nothing against the philosophy or the religion, but the way of life was different. And here something was in my brain which was, you can say mind or brain, but since we can't locate the mind, I am just using the word brain. So it was taking me in a different direction. Today one would say it's because of your past influences, but I didn't know at that point, and there was this conflict. But there was some kind of a soothing support which I got, which I didn't understand at that moment, that kept me going and not allowed me to accept defeat. And I think it was the blessings of my Ishwarnath Babaji, my personal teacher, who seems to have been watching over me in some way. Well, when I was a young boy, I didn't know he was watching over me. I would have got frightened. But I later on realized that it seems to be that there's someone really trying to help me out and protect me. And then if you have read my autobiography, I met him when I was 9 years old or so in the backyard of my house. Now that actually saved me from kind of getting confused and giving up. The only Himalayas I knew at that time were in my mind and in the clouds. When I looked up at the clouds, I thought there were snow-clad mountains out there. Enough to be examined by a psychiatrist. Anyway, so then I met Babaji under the jackfruit tree. Now this is, people who have read the biography know this. And it was a 10-15 minutes meeting, not even 10 minutes meeting. And I think the courage that I got, which got me through as I went along on this journey, was that hand that was placed on my head. And it's a very short while. And when he saw me, first thing he asked me was in Hindi, he asked, "Kuch yaad aaya?" So I said, "Nothing." "Do you remember anything?" I said, "Nothing. I don't remember anything." I was wondering to remember what. I didn't. So and then he said, "Oh, samay hone par sab theek ho jayega," and put his hand up on my head, which means when the time comes, you will get to know. Don't worry about it. And that kind of, I think, to a great extent, got me through the journey. Because he went away. He was not there anymore. But I knew, there is some support. I am not alone in this journey. See, often it happens. You live in a household, you're lucky, but many of the people in your household or your colleagues in your job, they're not interested in all that. They're into something else. Therefore you're a loner. So you have to walk a lonely path. This kind of thing really helped me to feel that, okay, there's somebody to support me. Although I didn't see anybody tangibly after that till I turned 19 and went off to the Himalayas. I just literally ran away from home. Well, so that was one part of my being able to overcome this obstacle of uncertainty, doubt. Should I go forward or give up, And then at the age of 19, again I went through a really terrible state of disbelief and I don't know, it was critical in the sense that when I went up there as a young man, not knowing anything, I was under the impression that from every bush or every cliff, a great yogi is going to come out. Nobody came out. So I did go to ashrams, of course, and met the wonderful people, wonderful place, okay, I met. They were all very kind to me. But they knew that this guy is looking for something else, he doesn't want to be part of this setup. And I got good advice. So I walked further up. When I reached Badrinath after several days, I had somewhere in a very foolish way, in a foolish moment, decided that I won't get into any transport. So I was walking and my legs were in pretty bad shape. But anyway, so when I reached Badrinath, I was really kind of defeated. I mean, in the sense that all the way I found one or two sadhus, of course, who were smoking ganja, and this I didn't want to get into. Well, there are ways and means even to go through that, but it's dangerous. So anyway, so then I was in various ashrams, I met Swami Chidananda, I met Krishna, I met many good people, great yogis, but I was not satisfied. I knew somebody, I'm looking for something else. So I kept going. In Badrinath, the one person I met was the chief priest of Badrinath. The reason I met him is not because I thought he would be a saint, but because he came from Kerala. From, Adi Shankara did this, I would say, very partial thing. That he said all the priests of Badrinath should be Nambudri Brahmins from Kerala. And that too from a particular branch of the family. So I knew this, so I went to see him. He's called Ravalji. So I went to Ravalji and I met him and I said, no. So I could speak in Malayalam after a long time. And I said, listen, this is what it is. I explained everything to him. I said, I need to have a place to live and have a good... He said, all that we will do. Don't worry about that. Kind man, he said, I think his name was Vishnu Nambudripad. Everybody called him Ravalji. So across the Ganga, he got me a nice kuti to stay. And for food, he said, I'm sure you'll be missing Malayali food. So, because we are the priests of Badrinath, so Badrinarayan has to have a Malayali meal at least once a day as Naivedya. So you can get the prasad, not to worry about all that. But, okay, you go settle down, Kutir, and come back, he said. So I went back. In the evening we had a nice chat or a cup of coffee and he said, I think you're wasting your time. Now that was my last straw. He said, you're an educated man, what are you doing here? Well, it's nice you came here, have darshan, stay for some time, meditate, go back home. You won't find anybody here. This is my third year here. They usually are there for 5 years and then somebody else comes. I haven't found, I said, Lord, there are many sadhus, but I don't think there's anyone you're looking for. That kind of yogi I have not seen here. And be careful because you might get caught with various kinds of people here. Just be careful. I really got so disappointed. I said to myself, well, I've burnt my bridges at home and I've come here. And there seems to be a very bleak future for me in here. Especially coming from the Ravalji, it was a shock to me. And anyway, I said, let me stay on for another day or two. So I went on a walk in the evening towards Mana. And Mana is our last village, Indian village. After that, a few kilometers away, you get the Chinese, Tibetan territory. I went to Mana, and from there's one path leading to the other side, not into Tibet, but goes up to what's called Swargarohini. In the Mahabharata, they say when the Pandavas, after the battle, decided to leave, give up everything and leave, they came to Swargarohini, and one by one they were picked up and taken away. We don't know which exoplanet, but so and there's an interesting episode because Yudhishthira, the oldest of them, refuses to go without his dog, who is following them. It's quite a gesture, you know. Finally they agree, okay, we'll take your dog too. So I often used to tell my Guru Maheshwarnath Babaji, since you're there and I'm your dog, so I'll also go up. You know? So anyway, so I went up and looked around. There were some caves. There were little caves which were locked up and some were just empty. There was nobody. I think it was all made for me. I got really very upset and I came down. It was getting darker. On the way there's a cave called Vyasa Gufa. I had passed through, but I had gone in. There was nobody there. So then I came back close to that. Then it occurred to me that perhaps this body is not suited for this journey in this birth. Maybe you can go, if you go to a psychiatrist, he would say that I was passing through extreme depression with suicidal tendencies. So I said, okay, maybe it's better to end your life. What's the point? But if one has to think this way, that means you're completely invested on spiritual life and then you find it's not there. Otherwise one wouldn't think this way. And then I looked at the Alaknanda river flowing. Yeah, it flows with such force and a roar, you know. I said, I didn't want to suffer. I said, how many minutes will it take if I jump in to die? And I was just thinking about it. I hesitated. I said, okay, let me go and meditate for some time and then take a decision. So I went little down and I came back to the Vyasa cave and I saw a fire burning out there in the front. So usually sadhus have a fire in the night due to various reasons, cold, wild animals. So I thought, if there's a fire, there must be somebody there. So I quietly entered and I saw Babaji standing up. I'm talking about my Guru, Maheshwarnath Babaji. And his words also were very kind of self-explanatory. He said, in Hindi he said, "Aisa ghum phir ke phir hamare paas aa gaye." Oh, he said, you went around in circles and came back to me. So I held his feet and I said, Babaji, I'm not going to leave you for life. Can you say that to me? He smiled and he said, dekha jayega. We'll see. So this was my, I think, most significant crossroad where I decided walk in front and not fall back. After that, I won't say everything was hunky-dory, but we went through different things, but not like this, not so serious. But then I decided, you're walking straight. The straight and narrow path, as somebody said in Jerusalem.
So for those...
Sorry I took such a long...
No, it's beautiful. You can take as long as you want. You're the one that has to sleep. For those for whom we're looking for things to appear from the bushes, and that cave doesn't show up, or that, what would you recommend to find that resilience?
Even though I had to go through all these adventures, I think I went through all these adventures so that I can be now here with you guys and say you don't have to go through all this. But it's good to go through this. Unless you do that, you don't learn. What I have understood after so many years is that the cave you need can be a nice room in your house. The reason being also that you can eat the diet that you want. It's not so easy, this being a yogi, living, that's a different yoga altogether. In this Kali Yuga, it's very difficult. Maybe exceptionally, and 1% probably can stay, otherwise it's not possible. What about us? Now I'm also part of you and me. Now I'm in San Jose with Naresh. There's no cave there, but I made this my bedroom into a cave. Don't let anybody come in for sure. Much as possible. So have a little room where you can sit every day and do your meditation or devotional practices or whatever you have to do. And there are people like us who have gone through it and who can exchange their views with you. So study. And there are these wonderful books which are available for us. You can read. In fact, Swadhyaya, that means self-study, is a very Swadhyaya. Self-study is one of the important ingredients, one of the important ways to move forward on this journey. It's quite unfortunate that people don't know much Sanskrit these days, so you can't read it in the original, but at least there are translations. It's possible to read, and keep having satsangs. It's very important. A satsang, like you have, even if I'm not there, you have meditation session. This is a satsang. And better than a satsang is a sadhu satsang. But there is someone who has gone through it and who can discuss it, who can help you out. I think if you follow this, then you don't have to run. Anyway, you can't run into the caves. I mean, there is no isolation even in caves these days. Seriously, when I was in Rishikesh as a young man, and you know how it is to go to an ashram. While there is a good side to it, there is also the other side. Even in ashram, there are caucuses in groups, and gurus and disciples trying to become gurus. It's all there, I've seen it all. So I'm sorry, I'm not making fun of anybody. These are facts. Because the more you please the teacher, maybe you will be appointed. So all this goes on. When I was a young man in Rishikesh, I was staying in the Shivananda ashram. I was enjoying it, of course. I couldn't find exactly what I was seeking. This was before I met Babaji. There was this young man from Maharashtra who was, I used to meet him every day near the Ganga. We used to go for a walk and talk. Good man, nice guy. One day he told me, I'm fed up with Rishikesh. I said, why on earth? Rishikesh was not what it is now then. There was not much to get fed up about actually. Nice, of course there were tourists and there were these ashrams blaring music in the mornings, all that was there. But it depends on whether you want to listen to it or not. Now this guy said, I'm quite fed up of this. He gave me various reasons, we won't go into that. So I said, so what do you want to do? I want to go and sit in isolation and meditate for a minute. I said, well, where will you go? And I know there's a cave up there in Lakshmanjula. I'm going to go and sit there and meditate for many days. He said, I'm not bothered about food, nothing. I said, okay, Godspeed, do it. I didn't know what was going to happen really. I thought maybe he's going to do it. He went. 6 days later, what 6 days? He went on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday evening, I saw him again walking on the banks of the Ganga and looking disgusted. I said, what happened? You didn't go to the... He said, I did. Then what happened? He said, you won't believe this. I went and sat, it was nice. I meditated inside the cave. And then one day it was good, second, I was feeling hungry, of course. I was wondering about the food. I said, you're not the first. And then what happened? Then on the third day, the Sunday morning, I was sitting there deeply in meditation. And I felt some stirring outside, so I opened my eyes. I thought some extraterrestrial has come to bless me. There was a guy with a mask and a tube at the back and standing there. So I did namaskar to him and he said, get out of the cave. I said, the first thought was maybe you're going to take me up in the flesh. So get out of the cave. He said, why? He said, I've come from the municipality to spray for mosquitoes. That's the thing he had. There is no cave now to go. So make your own house a nice place to meditate. Have your room, decorate it nicely, have flowers, you know what I mean? And let it look nice and have a seat. And if possible, don't use the room for anything else. Or at least that little spot where you sit. And keep your own asana. Don't give it to anybody. Not to wife, not to husband, no. Keep it for yourself. And then start some kind of a simple practice. I think anybody can do that. As you become interested and absorbed in the practice, then the time span will also start increasing. It's too much to expect to sit for hours in one day. So this is what I would like to tell you. So don't even regret that you haven't. But it's wonderful to go to the Himalayas. Okay, at least once in a lifetime one must go. It's beautiful out there. Okay. Even today. Well, I still know places which are not on the tourist circuit. I like to keep it to myself, otherwise then the tourists will start going. Anyway.